Commander Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the starship New Horizon as it approached the massive space station orbiting Nexus Prime. He had dreamed of this moment for years. Humanity was finally going to meet the Galactic Federation. After decades of preparation, Earth would ask to join the community of civilized worlds. The space station was enormous. It stretched for miles in every direction, its gleaming metal surface covered with docking bays and communication arrays. Ships from dozens of different worlds moved around it like busy insects. Morrison had never seen anything so magnificent. Dr. Lisa Carter joined him at the viewing window. She was Earth's best expert on alien life forms. Her job was to help humanity understand the different species they would meet. She carried data pads filled with everything Earth knew about the Federation, races. Behind them, Admiral Frank Hughes checked his uniform one final time. He commanded Earth's small defense fleet back home. The World Council had chosen him to show that humanity was strong but peaceful. His presence was meant to prove that Earth could defend itself without being aggressive. The communication system crackled to life. An alien voice spoke in perfect English, though it sounded mechanical and cold. The universal translator was working perfectly. Human vessel New Horizon, you are cleared to dock at Bay 7. Your delegation will be escorted to the council chambers immediately upon arrival. Morrison felt his heart racing. This was it, the moment that would change everything for humanity. Captain Alex Stone commanded the escort ship Guardian, which followed close behind. His job was to protect the diplomatic mission and make sure everyone got home safely. Stone was a careful man who always planned for trouble, even when he hoped it would not come. The docking process took 2 hours. The alien station was built for ships much larger than anything humans had ever constructed. The New Horizon looked tiny next to the massive vessels from other worlds. When the airlocks opened, a group of tall, thin aliens waited for them. These were the Zelthani, one of the oldest races in the Federation. Their skin was pale blue and their eyes were large and black. They wore flowing robes that seemed to shimmer in the artificial light. The lead Zelthani stepped forward and bowed slightly. I am Counselor Tevnan. I will escort you to the council chambers. Please follow me and speak only when spoken to. The human delegation walked through corridors that were clearly designed for beings much taller than humans. The walls were covered with symbols and writings from dozens of different languages. Strange music played softly from hidden speakers. Morrison tried to stay calm, but his hands were shaking. Everything depended on the next few hours. Earth had spent enormous resources preparing for this meeting. The entire planet was watching and waiting for news. The council chambers were even more impressive than the docking bays. The room was circular and enormous, with seats arranged in tiers around a central platform. 12 different species sat in the seats, each one representing a member world of the Federation. High Counselor Vextar rose from the highest seat. He was also Zelthani, but much older than their escort. His robes were more elaborate, and he carried a staff that glowed with soft light. When he spoke, his voice echoed throughout the chamber. Humans of Earth, you have requested membership in the Galactic Federation. We have studied your species for many years. We have watched your progress and examined your history. Morrison stepped forward. Honored Counselor, we are grateful for this opportunity. Humanity seeks only to join the community of peaceful worlds and contribute to galactic civilization. The Alien Council's members whispered among themselves in languages the humans could not understand. Some of them made sounds that were not even close to speech. Morrison tried to read their expressions, but alien faces were impossible to interpret. Dr. Carter opened one of her data pads and prepared to present humanity's achievements. She had prepared presentations about art, science, medicine, and philosophy. Everything that showed the best of human civilization. High Counselor Vextar raised his staff for silence. Your application has been reviewed and discussed. The Council has reached a unanimous decision. Morrison held his breath. Admiral Hughes stepped closer, ready to celebrate humanity's acceptance into the galactic community. Your species is rejected. The words hit Morrison like a physical blow. He felt his knees go weak and had to steady himself against the speaking platform. Furthermore, Vextar continued, humanity is forbidden from expanding beyond your home system. You will establish no colonies on other worlds. You will make no contact with other species without Federation approval. Any violation of these restrictions will be met with immediate force. Dr. Carter found her voice first. But why? We have so much to offer. Our science, our culture, our willingness to learn. Another council member spoke up. This one looked like a giant insect with multiple arms and glowing eyes. Your species is too violent. Your history is filled with wars, destruction, and cruelty. You cannot even live in peace among your own kind. A third alien covered in what looked like scales added its voice. You destroy your own planet for profit. You create weapons of mass destruction. You enslave and oppress your own people based on meaningless differences. Morrison tried to argue. That was our past. We have grown beyond those mistakes. We have united as one world. We have eliminated poverty and disease. Irrelevant, Vextar said firmly. Your nature is unchangeable. Violence and aggression are bred into your genetic code. You are a threat to galactic peace and stability. Admiral Hughes stepped forward, his face red with anger. You judge us without giving us a chance to prove ourselves. How is that fair or just? The insect-like alien made a sound that might have been laughter. Justice is protecting innocent civilizations from predators like yourselves. The galaxy has enjoyed peace for over 2,000 years. We will not allow humans to destroy that. Peace. Captain Stone, who had been silent until now, spoke quietly. What if we prove you wrong? What if we show that we can be peaceful? You will have no opportunity to prove anything, Vextar replied. Return to your system and remain there. Federation monitoring stations will be established to ensure your compliance. Any attempt to leave your solar system will result in the complete destruction of your species. The meeting was over. There was no discussion, no negotiation, no appeal. The humans were escorted back to their ships in silence. Morrison felt numb. Everything they had worked for was gone. As the New Horizon undocked from the station, Morrison watched the alien ships following them. They were not escorts anymore. They were guards making sure the humans went home and stayed there. Dr. Carter sat in her quarters, staring at her unused data pads. All her research was worthless now. No one had wanted to hear about human achievements or potential. They had already decided what humanity was, and nothing would change their minds. Admiral Hughes stood on the bridge of his ship, watching alien patrol vessels take positions throughout the solar system. They were not just monitoring, they were preparing for war. He could see weapons being deployed and defense platforms being constructed. The journey back to Earth took 3 weeks. When they arrived, President Helen Brooks was waiting for them. The leader of the World Council looked tired and worried. She had been hoping for good news, but the expressions on the returning diplomats' faces told her everything. Morrison delivered his report to the emergency session of the World Council. The room was filled with representatives from every nation on Earth. When he finished speaking, the chamber erupted in angry voices. Some council members wanted to accept the Federation's judgment and hope for a chance to prove humanity worthy in the future. Others demanded immediate military action against the alien forces now occupying their solar system. President Brooks called for order. We must decide how to respond to this crisis. Do we submit to alien rule, or do we fight for our freedom? By May, debate raged for hours. Outside, Federation ships continued to arrive and take positions around Earth. The aliens were not taking any chances. They were building a cage around humanity and making sure it was strong enough to hold them forever. As the Council argued, reports began coming in from the outer planets. Alien forces were destroying human research stations and mining operations. They claimed these facilities violated the containment order, but the attack seemed unnecessarily brutal. Captain Stone received the worst news of all. 300 miners had been killed when aliens destroyed a facility on Ceres. The miners had been working inside the permitted zone, but the Federation forces attacked anyway. Morrison realized the terrible truth. This was not about containment. The Federation had not just rejected humanity, they had declared war on them. The only question now was whether humans would fight back or simply wait to be destroyed. 6 months had passed since the Federation rejected humanity. Captain Alex Stone stood on the bridge of the Guardian, watching alien ships patrol the edge of the solar system. What started as monitoring had become something much worse. The Federation was squeezing humanity tighter every day. Stone's ship drifted near Jupiter, keeping watch on the outer planets. His orders were simple, but frustrating. Observe and report. Do not engage unless directly attacked. The World Council still hoped to avoid a full war with the Federation. The communication system buzzed with an urgent message from Mars. Colonel Amy Taylor's voice was tight with anger. Guardian, we have a situation at Ceres. Federation ships are moving toward the mining station. They're not responding to our communications. Stone felt his stomach drop. The Ceres mining operation employed over 300 people. It was completely within the boundaries the Federation had set for human activity. There was no reason for alien ships to be there. How many ships? Stone asked. 3 heavy cruisers and a dozen smaller vessels. They're surrounding the station now. Stone wanted to order the Guardian to Ceres immediately, but his orders were clear. He could only observe unless humans were directly attacked. He hoped the HFY aliens were just conducting another inspection. The hope died 20 minutes later when Colonel Taylor's voice crackled over the radio again. They're firing on the station. The mining platform is breaking apart. We're getting distress calls from the workers. Stone watched the tactical display as red dots representing Federation ships moved around the asteroid belt. The mining station's signal disappeared from his screen. 300 people had just died, and there was nothing he could do about it. Dr. Lisa Carter was working in her laboratory on Earth when news of the Ceres massacre reached her. She had spent the last 6 months studying every piece of Federation technology the humans had managed to capture or steal. Her findings were disturbing. The aliens were not just monitoring humanity, they were preparing for something much larger. Carter had discovered weapon signatures and energy readings that suggested the Federation was building up for a major military operation. She called Admiral Frank Hughes immediately. We need to talk. What happened at Ceres was not random, it was a test. Hughes arrived at her laboratory within an hour. He looked tired and angry. The weight of protecting humanity was wearing on him heavily. Carter showed him her analysis on the main display screen. Look at these energy readings from the Federation ships. They're not using standard patrol weapons. These are planet killers. Hughes studied the data. He had been a military man for 30 years and he recognized preparation for war when he saw it. How long do we have? Based on their construction patterns and ship movements, I estimate 6 months. Maybe less. They're positioning weapons throughout the outer system that could sterilize Earth from orbit. Hughes felt a cold fear settle in his chest. The Federation was not just containing humanity. They were preparing to eliminate them completely. On the Moon, Lieutenant Ben Parker led a small reconnaissance team through the abandoned research facility at Armstrong Base. The Federation had ordered all humans to evacuate lunar installations 2 months earlier. They claimed the bases violated containment protocols. Parker's team was there illegally, gathering intelligence on Federation activities. What they found was worse than anyone had imagined. The aliens had converted the human facility into a forward operating base. Look at this, whispered Sergeant Kelly Brown, pointing to massive weapon emplacements being installed in the lunar surface. Those are aimed at Earth. Parker recorded everything with his suit cameras. The Federation was not just occupying human territory. They were turning it into a launching point for invasion. The evidence was clear. This was not containment. This was preparation for genocide. Back on Earth, President Helen Brooks faced the most difficult decision in human history. The evidence was mounting that the Federation planned to destroy humanity completely. She had 2 choices: submit completely to alien rule and hope for mercy, or begin preparing for war. General Rick Santos had been working in secret for months, converting civilian industries to military production. Factories that once made cars and computers now produced weapons and armor. Shipyards designed spacecraft that looked like cargo vessels but carried enough firepower to destroy cities. The transformation of human society was happening quietly, but quickly. Every major government on Earth was cooperating. Old enemies were working together against the alien threat. Humanity was uniting in a way that had never happened before. Dr. Carter made another disturbing discovery while analyzing captured Federation communications. The aliens were discussing humanity like scientists talking about laboratory animals. They referred to the human problem and final solutions. One intercepted message was particularly chilling. High Counselor Vextar had written to another Federation leader about humanity. The test species continues to show aggressive tendencies. Recommend proceeding to Phase 3 of the containment protocol. Carter did not know what Phase 3 meant, but she was certain it involved killing every human in the solar system. Commander Jake Morrison had spent months trying to maintain diplomatic contact with the Federation. He still believed that reason and negotiation could solve the crisis. His efforts were becoming increasingly desperate as alien aggression escalated. Morrison arranged a meeting with Counselor Tevenin, the Zelthani, who had escorted them during their first visit to Nexus Prime. The meeting took place on a neutral space station in the asteroid belt. Tevenin looked uncomfortable during the entire conversation. Morrison could sense that the alien did not support everything the Federation was doing to humanity. There must be some way to resolve this peacefully, Morrison pleaded. Surely the Federation does not want to be remembered as the civilization that committed genocide. Tevenin was quiet for a long time before answering. Commander Morrison, you do not understand the situation. The Federation Council has made a decision. Humanity will be allowed to continue existing, but only under complete Federation control. What does that mean exactly? Your weapons will be destroyed. Your government will be dissolved. Your population will be relocated to designated areas. Under Federation supervision, your children will be educated according to Federation standards. Your species will become a client race, permitted to exist but forbidden to grow or develop. Morrison felt sick. The Federation was offering slavery as an alternative to extinction. And if we refuse? Tevenin looked away. Then Phase 3 will be implemented. Your species will be classified as a galactic threat and eliminated for the safety of civilized worlds. The meeting ended with Morrison returning to Earth carrying the Federation's ultimatum. Humanity had 30 days to surrender completely or face total destruction. President Brooks convened an emergency session of the World Council. Representatives from every nation gathered to hear Morrison's report. When he finished speaking, the chamber was silent. Admiral Hughes stood up. We know what we have to do. Operation Breakout is ready to launch. We have been preparing for this moment for 6 months. Dr. Kate Lewis, Earth's leading physicist, had been working on humanity's most secret project. She had developed quantum displacement technology that could allow ships to appear and disappear instantly across vast distances. The breakthrough could give human forces the mobility they needed to fight the Federation. The first test ships are ready, Lewis reported. We can begin moving forces into position within days. General Santos presented the military situation. We have converted enough civilian infrastructure to support a major military operation. Our forces are not large compared to the Federation, but they are well-trained and highly motivated. Captain Stone received new orders that night. The Guardian would lead the first wave of Operation Breakout. His target was the Federation monitoring station at Europa. The attack would signal the beginning of humanity's war for survival. Stone gathered his crew and explained their mission. These men and women had watched helplessly for months as aliens killed their fellow humans and threatened their home world. Now they finally had a chance to fight back. Dr. Carter completed her analysis of Federation biology and weaknesses. Human scientists had developed weapons specifically designed to exploit alien vulnerabilities. The Federation species had lived in peace for so long that they had lost many of their natural defenses. As the 30-day deadline approached, humanity made its final preparations. The species that had been rejected and contained was about to show the galaxy what happened when you caged a predator and then threatened its survival. The Federation had made a critical error. They had given humanity time to prepare and a reason to fight. Soon they would learn that some species could not be contained. Some species fought back. President Brooks made the final decision on the last day of the ultimatum. Instead of surrendering, she authorized Admiral Hughes to begin Operation Breakout. Humanity would not go quietly into slavery or extinction. The war was about to begin. Admiral Frank Hughes stood in the command center on Earth, watching dozens of screens showing human ships across the solar system. In exactly 1 hour, Operation Breakout would begin. Humanity would either break free from the Federation cage or die trying. "All units report ready," came the voice of General Rick Santos. Human forces had been moving into position for days, using stealth technology to avoid Federation sensors. The aliens had no idea what was coming. Captain Alex Stone guided the Guardian through the darkness near Europa. His ship was leading the assault on the Federation monitoring station orbiting Jupiter's moon. The station was heavily armed and protected by 3 alien warships. Stone looked at his crew. These men and women had trained for months for this moment. They knew they might not survive the next few hours, but they were ready to fight for humanity's freedom. "Remember the plan," Stone told them. "We hit fast and hard. The quantum drives will let us appear right on top of them before they can react. Make every shot count." Lieutenant Ben Parker commanded a strike team aboard the assault ship Defiance. His target was the Federation command center on the moon. The aliens had converted Armstrong Base into their primary headquarters for containing humanity. Parker's soldiers were the best Earth had to offer. They had studied alien biology and tactics for months. Dr. Lisa Carter had provided them with weapons designed specifically to kill Federation species quickly and efficiently. At exactly midnight Earth time, Admiral Hughes gave the order that changed everything. "All units commence Operation Breakout. Show them what happens when you cage humanity." The Guardian materialized directly above the Europa monitoring station. The Federation defenders had no time to react as human weapons tore through their shields and armor. Stone's crew had practiced this attack hundreds of times in simulation. The alien station exploded in a brilliant flash of light. The 3 Federation warships tried to return fire, but they could not target the Guardian. Dr. Kate Lewis's quantum displacement technology allowed the human ship to vanish and reappear randomly around the battlefield. "Target their engines first," Stone ordered. "We need prisoners for interrogation." The Federation ships were built for intimidation and patrol duty, not real combat. Their crews had never faced an enemy that fought back with such intensity. Within 30 minutes, all 3 alien vessels were disabled and boarded by human Marines. Colonel Amy Taylor led the assault on the Federation fleet in the asteroid belt. Her ships appeared from quantum space in perfect formation, catching the aliens completely by surprise. The Federation commanders had been expecting desperate attacks by scattered human forces, not coordinated military strikes. Taylor's flagship, the Revenge, targeted the alien command ship first. The Federation crew tried to send a distress signal, but human jammers blocked all their communications. The galaxy would not learn about Operation Breakout until it was too late to stop it. The asteroid belt turned into a battleground as human ships hunted down every Federation vessel they could find. The aliens had superior numbers and technology, but they had no experience fighting an enemy that refused to surrender. Lieutenant Parker's team landed on the moon just as the space battles began. They found the Federation forces at Armstrong Base in complete confusion. The aliens had received reports of attacks throughout the solar system, but their commanders could not coordinate a response. Parker led his soldiers through the base corridors they had built with their own hands. Seeing their lunar home occupied by aliens filled every human with rage. The Federation had taken everything from them, and now it was time to take it back. The alien defenders were not prepared for close combat. They were police forces designed to control compliant populations, not warriors trained to fight for their lives. Parker's soldiers moved through the base like a deadly tide, clearing room after room with brutal efficiency. Dr. Carter monitored the battles from her laboratory on Earth. She was analyzing the Federation response patterns and looking for weaknesses the human forces could exploit. What she found surprised her. The aliens were panicking. Their communications were full of confusion and fear. They kept asking each other how the humans had developed such advanced technology so quickly. The Federation had seriously underestimated their prisoners. "Admiral Hughes," Carter reported, "the Federation forces are in complete disarray. They're requesting reinforcements from their homeworlds, but those ships won't arrive for days." Hughes smiled grimly. "Then we press our advantage. General Santos, begin Phase 2. General Santos activated the second wave of Operation Breakout. Human forces that had been hiding throughout the outer system suddenly revealed themselves. The Federation monitoring network was under attack everywhere at once. Commander Jake Morrison found himself in command of the strike force attacking the main Federation base on Titan. He had opposed the war initially, but seeing his fellow humans slaughtered had changed his mind. Diplomacy was useless against enemies who wanted to destroy you. Morrison's ship surrounded the Titan base before the aliens knew they were there. The quantum drives had given humanity a decisive advantage. Federation forces could not predict where human ships would appear next. "This is Commander Morrison to Federation Base Titan," he broadcast. "Surrender immediately or we will destroy you." The alien commander responded with threats and demands for Morrison to withdraw. The Federation officer could not believe that the contained humans had developed the capability to challenge their captors. Morrison ordered the attack. The Titan base had been built using human equipment and resources. Now that same base was torn apart by human weapons. The aliens inside never had a chance. Captain Stone's boarding parties searched the captured Europa station for intelligence. What they found was evidence that the Federation had been planning humanity's complete extermination from the very beginning. The containment had never been about keeping humans peaceful. It was about preparing them for slaughter. Stone transmitted the evidence to Earth immediately. President Helen Brooks received the files and felt her anger turn to cold determination. The Federation had never intended to let humanity survive. This was a war for the survival of the species. The battles continued throughout the solar system for 6 more hours. By dawn on Earth, every Federation installation had been captured or destroyed. Human forces had taken hundreds of alien prisoners and captured dozens of ships filled with advanced technology. Admiral Hughes received reports from all sectors. The breakout had succeeded beyond their wildest hopes. Humanity was free from the Federation cage, and they had the weapons and ships needed to carry the fight to alien worlds. Dr. Lewis analyzed the captured Federation ships and made an exciting discovery. The alien quantum drive technology was actually inferior to her own designs. Humanity had developed faster and more efficient systems during their months of preparation. "We can reach Federation worlds before they know we're coming," Lewis reported. "Our ships can cross the galaxy in days instead of weeks." Colonel Taylor interrogated the highest-ranking Federation prisoner, a Zelthani commander named Velkar. The alien was terrified and confused. He could not understand how humans had developed such military capabilities so quickly. "Your species was evaluated as primitive and harmless," Velkar said. "Your technology was centuries behind ours. How did you build quantum drives and stealth systems in only 6 months?" Taylor smiled coldly. "You made the mistake of threatening our survival. Humans can accomplish anything when their backs are against the wall." Lieutenant Parker's forces completed their sweep of the lunar base. They had captured detailed plans showing Federation preparations for Phase 3. The aliens had been ready to deploy planet-killing weapons within weeks. Parker transmitted the evidence to Earth. The documents proved that humanity had no choice but to fight. The Federation had planned to murder every human in the solar system and claimed they were protecting galactic peace. General Santos coordinated the capture of Federation supply bases throughout the outer planets. Human forces were now in control of alien weapons, ships, and technology. The prisoners would provide intelligence about Federation military capabilities and homeworld locations. Commander Morrison stood on the bridge of his flagship as the last Federation forces in the solar system surrendered. The aliens who had once threatened to destroy humanity were now begging for mercy. "Admiral Hughes, Operation Breakout is complete," Morrison reported. "All Federation forces in the solar system have been neutralized. We have over 2,000 prisoners and 50 captured ships." Hughes felt a moment of satisfaction, but he knew the real war was just beginning. The Federation would not accept this defeat. They would send fleets from their home worlds to crush humanity once and for all. President Brooks addressed the world that evening. Every human on Earth watched as their leader announced that the cage was broken. Humanity was free to explore the galaxy again, and they had the tools needed to defend themselves. The Federation made a terrible mistake, Brooks said. They tried to contain a species that refuses to be contained. They threatened to destroy a people who will fight to the death for their freedom. Now they will learn what humanity is truly capable of. 3 weeks after Operation Breakout, the first human battle fleet emerged from quantum space near the Federation world of Kepler-7. Admiral Frank Hughes watched from his flagship Vengeance as alien defense platforms scrambled to respond to the unexpected invasion. The Federation world had not seen war in over 1,000 years. Their defenses were designed to intimidate pirates and criminals, not fight against a determined military force. Human ships appeared throughout the system faster than the aliens could track them. Captain Alex Stone led the assault on the planet's orbital shipyards. The Guardian materialized directly inside the construction facility, catching hundreds of alien workers completely by surprise. Human Marines boarded the incomplete Federation warships before their crews could even reach them. "Secure the ship construction data," Stone ordered his boarding teams. "We need to understand their technology completely." The Federation defenders tried to organize a counterattack, but they had no experience with the kind of warfare humans brought to their world. Every alien ship that moved to engage the invaders found itself surrounded by human vessels that appeared from nowhere. On the planet's surface, General Rick Santos coordinated the landing of human ground forces. The aliens had built cities that were completely unprepared for military assault. Their police forces carried weapons designed for crowd control, not fighting soldiers trained for war. Colonel Amy Taylor's armored units rolled through the capital city of New Zelthara like an unstoppable tide. The alien civilians fled in panic, having never seen actual combat vehicles before. The Federation's peaceful civilization was learning what war really meant. Lieutenant Ben Parker led a special operations team that captured the planet's communication center. His orders were to broadcast a message to every Federation world in the galaxy. Humanity wanted all their enemies to know what was coming. "This is Lieutenant Parker of the Human Defense Force," he announced over the Federation communication network. "The species you tried to exterminate is very much alive. We are coming for every world that supported our containment. Surrender now, or face complete destruction." Dr. Lisa Carter analyzed the captured Federation technology from her mobile laboratory aboard the science vessel Discovery. What she found amazed her. The aliens had not improved their weapons or ships in centuries. They had grown soft and complacent during their long peace. "Admiral Hughes," Carter reported, "the Federation military is using the same basic designs they had 500 years ago. They stopped innovating because they never faced any real threats." Hughes nodded grimly. "Then we'll show them what happens when you face an enemy that never stops improving." The battle for Kepler-7 lasted only 18 hours. When it ended, humanity controlled the entire system. Thousands of Federation citizens were prisoners, and their industrial facilities were being converted to produce human weapons and ships. Commander Jake Morrison found himself governing a conquered alien world. The irony was not lost on him. The man who had once begged for Federation acceptance was now dictating terms to his former captors. Morrison established martial law across the planet. Any Federation citizen who cooperated with the occupation received food and protection. Those who resisted were dealt with harshly. Humanity had learned from the aliens that mercy was often seen as weakness. Dr. Kate Lewis worked frantically to improve the quantum drive technology that gave human forces their decisive advantage. Her engineers were installing the new systems in captured Federation ships, turning them into weapons against their former owners. "We can move our entire fleet across the galaxy in days," Lewis reported to Admiral Hughes. "The Federation will never know where we'll strike next." Captain Stone received orders to lead a task force deeper into Federation space. His target was the industrial world of Manufactus 7, where the aliens built most of their military equipment. Destroying that facility would cripple the Federation's ability to fight back. The Guardian led a fleet of 20 human ships through quantum space. They emerged near Manufactus 7 to find a Federation defense fleet waiting for them. The aliens had finally managed to organize a military response to the human invasion. The battle was much harder than Kepler-7. The Federation commanders had learned from their earlier defeats and developed new tactics to counter human quantum drives. They used spread formations and overlapping fire zones to limit human mobility. Stone found himself in the first real space battle of the war. Federation ships surrounded his task force and poured fire into them from all directions. The aliens were finally fighting like they meant to win. "All ships, target their command vessel," Stone ordered. "If we can disrupt their coordination, they'll fall apart like all the others." The Guardian vanished from the center of the enemy formation and reappeared directly behind the Federation flagship. Human weapons tore through the alien ship's engines before it could turn to fight back. The Federation admiral was captured along with his entire command staff. Lieutenant Parker's commandos infiltrated the planet's surface during the space battle. Their mission was to capture the industrial facilities intact. Humanity needed those factories to build more ships and weapons for the expanding war. Parker's team found that the Federation workers had tried to sabotage their own equipment rather than let humans capture it. The aliens were finally showing some fighting spirit, but it was too little and too late. "Secure the main production lines," Parker ordered his soldiers. "Kill anyone who tries to destroy the machinery." The battle for Manufactus 7 lasted 3 days. When it ended, humanity controlled the most important industrial center in Federation space. The aliens had lost their primary source of military equipment. Colonel Taylor established occupation forces on both conquered worlds. Her troops had to deal with alien resistance movements that were finally learning how to fight back. The Federation citizens were discovering that freedom required more than speeches and protests. "They're starting to organize guerrilla attacks," Taylor reported to General Santos. "The aliens are learning from our tactics and using them against us." Santos was not surprised. "Good. That means they're finally taking us seriously. But they're still thinking like police officers instead of soldiers. We'll adapt faster than they will." Dr. Carter made a disturbing discovery while analyzing captured Federation records. The aliens were developing new weapons specifically designed to kill humans. The peaceful civilizations were finally embracing the warfare they had once condemned. "They're working on biological weapons that target human DNA," Carter reported. "The Federation is abandoning their moral principles to fight us." Admiral Hughes reviewed the intelligence from both conquered worlds. The Federation was finally mobilizing for total war. Their fleets were moving toward human-controlled space, and their scientists were developing new weapons and tactics. "How long before they can mount a serious counterattack?" Hughes asked his staff. 6 months, maybe less," replied his intelligence officer. "They're converting civilian ships to military use and conscripting millions of civilians into their armed forces." Hughes made a decision that would define the rest of the war. "Then we don't give them 6 months. We strike at their core worlds now before they can organize properly." Commander Morrison received new orders that shocked him. Human forces were going to attack Nexus Prime itself, the capital of the Federation. The world where humanity had been rejected would become the target of their ultimate revenge. Morrison felt conflicted about the mission. Part of him still believed that diplomacy could end the war before it destroyed both civilizations. But the evidence was clear that the Federation would never accept human survival. Captain Stone's fleet was reinforced with ships and crews from the conquered worlds. Human engineers had converted dozens of Federation vessels into weapons of war. The aliens were about to face their own technology turned against them. Dr. Lewis completed development of her most devastating weapon yet, the quantum displacement. Bombs could destroy entire planets by tearing holes in space-time itself. Humanity now possessed the power to eliminate Federation worlds completely. "Are we really going to use these?" Lewis asked Admiral Hughes privately. "Once we cross this line, there's no going back." Hughes looked at the reports of Federation biological weapons research. "They crossed the line first when they planned to exterminate us. Now they'll learn what happens when you threaten human survival." The war was escalating beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. The Federation's peaceful civilization was learning to fight for its life, while humanity embraced total warfare with terrifying efficiency. Lieutenant Parker read intercepted Federation communications that revealed their growing desperation. The aliens were abandoning planets and evacuating their populations to fortified worlds deeper in their territory. "They're scared," Parker reported to his commanders. "The species that once threatened to destroy us is now running from us." General Santos coordinated the final preparations for the assault on Nexus Prime. Human forces throughout the galaxy were moving toward the Federation capital. The war would end where it began, with humanity standing before the alien council that had rejected them. But this time the humans would not be asking for permission to join the galaxy. The war ended not with a great battle, but with the complete collapse of the Federation government. Admiral Frank Hughes stood on the bridge of his flagship as the last Federation fleet surrendered in orbit around Nexus Prime. The capital world, that had once rejected humanity, now flew human flags from every government building. Captain Alex Stone commanded the occupation forces that swept through the Federation Council chambers. The same room where humanity had been dismissed and threatened was now filled with human soldiers. High Counselor Vextar, the alien who had condemned humanity to containment, knelt before Stone with his hands bound. "Your species made a terrible mistake," Stone told the defeated alien leader. "You could have welcomed us as allies. Instead, you chose to make us your enemies." Vexitar looked up with his large black eyes filled with fear and confusion. "We were trying to protect the galaxy from your violence. We never imagined you could become so powerful so quickly." Stone smiled coldly. "That's what happens when you threaten human survival. We don't just adapt, we overcome." President Helen Brooks stood before the cameras in the former Federation Council chamber, addressing not just humanity, but every species in the galaxy. Her words would reshape galactic civilization forever. The Federation claimed they wanted peace, Brooks announced, but their peace was built on oppression and the threat of genocide. Today, humanity establishes a new order based on strength, merit, and the freedom to grow. Dr. Lisa Carter worked in laboratories across dozens of former Federation worlds, helping alien scientists understand the new reality. The species that had stagnated under Federation rule were being introduced to human concepts of competition and innovation. "Your civilization had the potential for greatness," Carter told a group of Zelthani researchers, "but the Federation taught you to fear change and avoid risks. Under human guidance, you can become more than you ever imagined." Some alien species embraced the change eagerly. The younger civilizations that had chafed under Federation restrictions welcomed human leadership. They had been waiting centuries for the chance to prove themselves worthy of respect. Others resisted bitterly. Several Federation worlds attempted rebellion against human occupation forces. These uprisings were crushed quickly and brutally. Humanity had learned from the Federation's mistakes and would not tolerate challenges to their authority. Colonel Amy Taylor commanded the peacekeeping forces on Nexus Prime. Her troops maintained order while human administrators restructured the former Federation government. The old system of species-based representation was replaced with merit-based leadership. "The strongest and smartest will lead," Taylor explained to a gathering of alien officials. "Your species or planet of origin doesn't matter. Only your ability to contribute to galactic civilization." Lieutenant Ben Parker led exploration missions into the galaxy's uncharted regions. His ships discovered dozens of intelligent species that the Federation had ignored or suppressed. These civilizations had been waiting for someone to give them a chance to join galactic society. The Federation controlled less than half the galaxy, Parker reported to his superiors. "There are entire regions filled with species they never contacted. We're going to give them the opportunities the Federation denied them." Commander Jake Morrison found himself serving as the first human Governor-General of the former Federation space. The man who had once begged for alien acceptance now ruled over the species that had rejected him. Morrison established new laws that rewarded achievement and punished stagnation. Worlds that showed progress and innovation received support and resources. Those that resisted change faced economic isolation and reduced autonomy. "The Federation taught you that peace meant never changing or growing," Morrison told a gathering of planetary governors. "Humanity will teach you that real peace comes from the strength to defend what you've built." Dr. Kate Lewis continued her technological innovations. developing communication and transportation networks that connected human-controlled space. Her quantum relay systems allowed instant communication across the galaxy, something the Federation had never achieved. "We're not just conquering territory," Lewis explained to her engineering teams. "We're building the infrastructure for a truly galactic civilization." General Rick Santos oversaw the construction of massive military installations throughout human space. These fortress worlds served both as defensive positions and symbols of human power. No future threat would catch humanity unprepared. "The Federation made the mistake of thinking peace could last forever," Santos told his construction crews. "We know better. Strength must be maintained, or it will be challenged." The former High Counselor Vextar served as an advisor to the human government, providing insight into Federation history and alien psychology. His cooperation earned him better treatment than many other former Federation leaders received. "Your species succeeded where we failed, because you understood something we forgot," Vextar admitted to Morrison during one of their meetings. "Civilization requires constant struggle to remain strong. We became weak by avoiding all conflict." Some Federation species adapted quickly to human rule. The insectoid Kythera embraced competition and began developing new technologies at unprecedented rates. Within months, they were contributing innovations that surpassed anything they had created in centuries under Federation control. The aquatic Merdani struggled more with the transition. Their culture valued harmony and consensus, concepts that clashed with human emphasis on individual achievement. Many Merdani worlds requested special autonomous status within the human empire. Morrison considered these requests carefully. "Autonomy can be earned through contribution," he decided. "Show us what your species can achieve under human guidance, and we'll consider granting you greater self-rule." Captain Stone's ships continued patrolling the galaxy, seeking out potential threats to human dominance. They found several civilizations that had been hiding from the Federation, waiting for the right moment to emerge and claim their place among the stars. "The galaxy is much larger and more diverse than the Federation ever admitted," Stone reported. "They kept dozens of species suppressed or isolated. We're giving them all the chance to prove their worth." Dr. Carter made disturbing discoveries while studying Federation archives. The aliens had systematically destroyed or hidden evidence of other species that had challenged their authority. Humanity was not the first race to resist Federation control, merely the first to succeed. They eliminated at least 6 other species over the past millennium, Carter reported. Civilizations that showed too much independence or potential were quietly exterminated. The Federation called it maintaining stability. This revelation justified every action humanity had taken during the war. The Federation had not been maintaining peace but enforcing stagnation through fear and genocide. Human victory had saved not just humanity, but countless other species from similar fates. President Brooks established the Terran hegemony as the new galactic government. Unlike the Federation's rigid hierarchy, the hegemony offered membership to any species willing to contribute to galactic civilization. Merit and achievement determined status, not species or age. "We will not repeat the Federation's mistakes," Brooks declared. "Every species will have the opportunity to rise as high as their abilities allow, but none will be permitted to stagnate or threaten the progress of others." The transition was not without violence. Several former Federation core worlds attempted coordinated rebellion, believing they could overwhelm human forces through sheer numbers. These uprisings were crushed with devastating efficiency. Lieutenant Parker's forces used captured Federation biological weapons against the rebels, demonstrating that humanity had no moral reservations about using any tool necessary to maintain order. The message was clear to every species in the galaxy. "The Federation hesitated to use their full strength against us," Parker explained to his troops after suppressing a major uprising. "We won't make that mistake. Any threat to human authority will be eliminated completely." Years passed as the new order solidified throughout the galaxy. Human settlements spread to thousands of worlds, carrying Earth's influence into every corner of known space. The species that had been rejected for being too violent became the foundation of galactic civilization. Admiral Hughes, now elderly, but still commanding respect throughout human space, reflected on the transformation during a ceremony marking the 5th anniversary of Federation defeat. They said we weren't welcome among the stars, Hughes told the assembled crowd of humans and aliens. They were wrong. The stars weren't ready for us, but we made them ready. The galaxy had learned its lesson. When you reject humanity, you don't get peace. You get war. And when humans go to war, they don't stop until they've won everything. Some species thrived under human rule, embracing competition and innovation to achieve heights they never reached under Federation control. Others faded away, unable to adapt to a galaxy where strength and achievement determined survival. The Terran hegemony grew stronger each year, its influence spreading to previously unknown regions of space. Human explorers and colonists carried Earth's values to the furthest reaches of the galaxy, ensuring that no corner remained untouched by human authority.